You learn this the hard way. Your phone glows at midnight. You answer. A client pushes the deadline. You agree. A coworker asks for a quick favor. You jump. A friend texts, "Can you look at this right now?" You are fast, warm, available. In the morning, they are slower, cooler, busier. Your yes became background noise. The room learned you forfeit your time cheaply. The smile tax was collected on your dignity, paid in discounts you gave to buy feelings you could never own. Approval is a drug doled out by others. The dose fades quickly and demands another. You chase the next laugh, the next emoji, the next pat on the back. You start quoting your own generosity as if it were currency. But the market reads eagerness as a clearance sign. Quick replies to low stakes, free work with no scope, boundaries that melt on contact. The price of you falls, not because you lack value, but because you price yourself at zero when attention knocks after hours. You are not kind, you are underpricing yourself, and the market will treat you accordingly. The remedy is not anger, it is policy. Love is weather, fear is policy. Weather changes when the crowd is bored or hungry. Policy holds through seasons, when rule is at stake. When order in your life or room is questioned, predictable penalties stabilize faster than charm ever could. You do not shout, you do not sulk, you apply the rule you published. First miss gets a private path back, second miss gets public clarity, third miss ends the privilege quietly and completely. People stop guessing your mood and start respecting your calendar. Fear here is not terror. It is calculation. People must calculate that breaking your structure costs more than obeying it. A boss who pings you on weekends gets a Monday morning reply attached to a workstream template. A client who tries scope creep sees an automatic change order in the portal before the meeting ends. A cousin who mocks you in public loses the front row seat next time and finds the invitations less frequent. The message is consistent. I am human, but my rules are stone. You cannot manage me with pressure or pity. You must respect the rule. Respect is engineered. Signals, incentives, costs. Your signals speak before you do on time. Prepared, crisp, brief. Your incentives align behavior with speed and clarity. Those who deliver get earlier access, faster answers, better terms. Your costs land without drama. Missed deadlines shift you to the slower lane. Repeated disrespect collapses availability. Mistakes documented once become training, not debate. This is how attention becomes leverage. Rooms plan around you because you are the shortest, safest path between problem and outcome. Look at your week and rewrite it as law. Publish response windows. Define meeting ceilings. Set escalation steps. Decide what earns priority and what enters a queue. Think in daylight, correct in private. Once, correct in daylight, twice, close on the third. Wear the same standard everywhere: work, family, friends, so you stop learning a new language for every crowd. Record commitments. Send summaries. Keep receipts without venom. Memory is the twin of authority. It frees you from arguing about the weather because the record already knows what happened. You will be called cold. Accept the word and translate it. Consistent. You will be accused of playing games. Smile once and translate that too. Rules. Those who preferred you weak will miss the old you. Those who needed you strong will finally appear. Approval was a circle. Respect is a road. The circle kept you spinning. The road takes you home every time on schedule. Trade craving for code, and respect will collect itself. You want respect that survives the room and follows you into the next one. Then stop chasing approval and start building leverage. Respect is not a feeling. It is a perimeter with guards and receipts. The city watches signals, not sentiments. Play for position, not praise. Authenticity without architecture is cheap. When you pour your unfiltered self into every channel, people sip you like tap water, free, endless, and forgettable. Sincerity is a scent. Structure is the bottle, without titles, allies, timing, and outcomes. Being real reads as being easy. Anchor your identity inside roles and results, not moods. In the office, stop floating as the helpful guy. Own a lane with a name. Incident response, hiring pipeline, quarterly retention. Tie your face to something that survives the meeting. A service level, a budget line, or a recurring objective with your initials on it. Online trade, endless stories for a weekly communique. Keep your tone human. but make the content decisive. What shipped, what changed, what's next? Scarcity and cadence create expectation. Your presence becomes an event, not background noise. At home, even intimacy respects structure. If you are always available for every event, you become a drain. Set a standing hour for real talk and protect it. Scarcity sharpens attention, boundaries protect dignity. You are still yourself, only now yourself has a desk, a calendar, and a key. Kindness without cost breeds delay. Unconditional helpfulness trains people to dump undecided work on you. They learn that your time is frictionless, so their planning can be sloppy. Replace soft generosity with a conversion mechanic. Courtesy plus clock plus consequence. Courtesy means you answer in clean, neutral language. Clock means every favor has a deadline, a time window, or a cue. Consequence means the next step triggers automatically if inputs slip. A teammate asks, "Quick review today?" Courtesy, "Happy to review." Clock, "Send by 3 p.m. I return notes 10:30 tomorrow." Consequence, if it lands after 3, it moves to Friday's batch. No anger, no lecture, just physics. A non-profit partner wants a small add-on to your event. Courtesy, "Great idea." Clock, "Lock by Wednesday." Consequence, after Wednesday, add-ons roll to next month's forum. People will call you professional because your kindness travels with a calendar. Mercy, priced, becomes sustainable and respected. Now, silence without signal. In contested hierarchies, pure silence reads as fear. The crowd cannot see your inner calm. They see a dark window and assume no one is home. Make non-response a deterrent, not an invitation. By pairing the quiet with a visible policy. Ignore the person. Enforce the rule. When smeared online, don't bleed onto the stage. Wait 24 hours. Gather proof. Then issue a short post that links to your standing rule. We correct false claims once, evidence below. Repeat violators are blocked and reported per policy. Provide receipts, tag institutions, and move on to a scheduled win you already prepared. Your quiet had a clock. Your speech had a blade. In the office, stop firefighting pings during deep work. Put the policy in your signature. Focus block 10-12 replies after 2 p.m. Decline meetings that trespass on the block and reference the rule once, calmly. Your silence becomes discipline signal, not mute endurance. Sometimes, silence is resource movement. Not words, a vendor pays late. You stop rush favors, move their tickets to the back, and reply with the invoice plus the clause they signed. When payment arrives, the wheels turn. When it doesn't, you exit with a neutral note and reclaim capacity. You spoke through allocation. People learn faster from gravity than from speeches. Finally, win-win is cover. Savvy actors wrap extraction in harmony. They praise partnership while their hands are in your pockets. Replace slogans with floors, deadlines, and audit trails. A media partner offers exposure if you waive fees. Install floors, minimum deliverables, named contact, published placement date, install deadlines. Assets by Tuesday or the slot returns to you. Install an audit trail shared sheet with timestamps and links. If they resist transparency, they were shopping for a free ride. A colleague proposes collaboration, you bring the audience. They bring enthusiasm, ask for symmetry of pain. If you take reputational risk, they take cash risk or timeline risk. Put money in escrow with a milestone release. Attach exit clauses. If numbers miss by 30%, either party can stop without penalty. Require mutual promotion at set times. If they stall, you have the paper to close cleanly. Your friendliness remains, your flank is covered. Thread all of this into habit. Authenticity becomes architecture. Roles, allies, timing, outcomes. Kindness becomes protocol, courtesy, clock, consequence, silence becomes signal. A posted rule, enforced, win-win becomes measurable exchange, floors, deadlines, audit trails, each mechanic converts your effort into leverage. The crowd can see and the opposition must respect. Watch the market respond. Meetings shorten because you send pre-reads. Requests shrink because your yes has terms. Smears die because your policy bites. Partners pay because your paper is tight. The same talent you had yesterday now values higher because you framed it, fenced it, and forced it to be witnessed. Approval chases performance theater. Respect follows enforceable terms. You are no longer the free fountain in the square. You are the well inside the citadel, opened on schedule, guarded by design. Do not harden your heart, harden your perimeter. Keep warmth, add weight. Keep calm, add clocks. Keep collaboration, add floors. You do not need louder speeches. You need visible systems that carry your name and defend your time. The city will understand. It always has. Build the bottle, meter the mercy, quiet with rules, and trade only on paper. Power is a contract with your nerves. Break it, and enemies collect. They do not need force to move you. They need only the right memory, the right compliment, or the right fear. Touch your wound, and you supply your own leash. Strategy begins where the leash ends. Praise hunger is the first handle. You love the flash of approval because it announces that you exist, so you overshare to keep the light alive. You overpromise to keep the crowd awake. You overstay long after value is delivered because applause feels like oxygen. Rivals know the circuitry. They dangle compliments that sound like coronations. Only you can lead this. Your timeline is legendary. They coax you into public commitments that your resources cannot honor. Later, they do not need to attack. They tilt the microphone and let your missed deadlines swing. Replace applause metrics with outcome metrics. Create a private scoreboard that governs your mouth. Ship, settle, secure. Ship features and fixes on schedule. Settle disputes with finality and receipts. Secure customers, margins, and allies. Tie your speaking privileges to the scoreboard. No date on stage until risk is hedged. Contracts are signed, and buffers exist. If you must speak early, speak in ranges, constraints, and verbs. Publish evidence, not appetite. A quiet release note that closes a pain for a real customer is worth 50 glowing threads that close nothing. Rejection panic turns every quarter into discount season. The threat of loss, real or staged, shakes coins from your crown. A client hints at reviewing options. A partner delays a reply. A group chat grows cool. You imagine exile and feed the fear with concessions. You grant net 120, exclusive rights, custom work that swallows your week, and promises that chain next quarter's cash. Your rival does not need to outbuild you. They need only to squeeze your price by scaring your heart. Install rehearsed thresholds and cooling rules. In daylight, when your pulse is slow, decide the terms that keep you sovereign. Minimum margin by product, maximum discount by segment, revenue share limits, the maximum share a single customer may hold, the furthest you will drift from your roadmap. Write them, drill them. In Stormlight, obey the page, not your pulse. When a demand crosses a line, you sleep once and decide once. No midnight deals. Price the panic like electricity. Surge pricing applies or the lights go off. Restraint becomes safer than clinging the moment your no is older than your fear. Humiliation memory is a reflex war. A laugh in a meeting echoes a school hallway. A dismissive tone revives an old manager's smirk. A delayed reply awakens a night when you were invisible. The past floods the present, and your mouth becomes artillery. You fire hot answers, sarcastic jabs, or a glittering biography to prove you matter. The crown chases street fights, and the street wins. Install a 60-second ritual to reseize the throne. Breathe, classify, proportion. Breathe 5 in, 5 out, twice. Anchor your hand to the table. Let wood outvote ghosts. Classify. Is this a probe, a recruit, or a dethrone? A probe tests boundaries. Answer with one rule, calmly enforced. A recruit tries to herd the room into laughing at you. Split the herd by moving the data and asking for help where useful. A dethrone attempts to seize the frame. Either reset to outcomes or end the exchange. Proportion means you match response to risk. A sentence for a probe, a chart for recruitment, a closed door for dethronement. The ritual makes your response expensive. For them, not you. Belonging addiction makes you leak and bend. Needing the room to like you invites off-hours access, casual entitlement, and porous borders. You answer late-night texts to keep the glow. You forward drafts for friendly eyes. You attend every after event so no one calls you distant. Your rivals do not need spies. They need only your loneliness. They reward your access with belonging and charge you in information. Restructure belonging around a small inner circle. and written rules. Choose 3 to 5 people who guard the mission more than they guard your mood. With them, be naked and exact. With everyone else, be warm and finite. Establish office hours, reply windows, and content boundaries. If a request crosses the boundary, it waits for daylight or it dies. Replace the fever of constant presence with the loyalty of a cadre. When your circle is tight, your schedule is a fortress, and your speech carries weight. See the full machine. Praise hunger pulls you onto stages you do not need. Rejection panic shoves you into contracts you do not want. Humiliation memory drags you into battles you cannot win. Belonging addiction opens doors that should stay locked. The enemy's strategy is simple. Keep you loud, rushed, haunted, and available. Loud so you reveal. Rushed so you misprice. Haunted so you overreact. Available so you are never deep enough to be dangerous. Design the counter machine. Start each week with a private scoreboard. Plan tasks that move ship, settle, secure. Block time for depth. Guard it like payroll. Keep a written price list and never bargain from fear. Put your 60-second ritual on a card inside your pocket. Practice until calm appears on command. Announce your access rules to your team so they can defend them. Reward people who say no, who deliver quietly, who refuse bait. Make your manners a uniform for service, not a costume for approval. You will still feel the pull, the compliment that tastes like sugar, the silence that feels like exile, the laugh that tastes like blood. Let them pass. Let them prove that you have a governor inside you stronger than any crowd outside you. Speak rarely, but with receipts. Decline gently, but with terms. Delay vengeance, and the future will do it for you with interest. You do not need to be stone. You need to be sovereign. Sovereignty is not coldness. It is control. Your crown is the right to choose where attention goes, where time is spent, and where speech is priced. Keep it polished with outcomes, guarded by thresholds, cooled by ritual, and encircled by a few who would rather tell you no than watch you burn. Ship, hold, breathe, and belong to the mission, not the crowd. Men in general judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see but few can feel. You think access is power, so you make yourself reachable at every hour. The wound loves this. It wants to be soothed, not served. You answer late-night threads. You fire off defensive posts. You spill into public DMs to prove you're real. But impulse is not intimacy. It is inventory for your enemies. Every hurried sentence becomes a tile in a mosaic you did not intend. They clip, timestamp, and stack. In the morning, your name arrives before you do, attached to a dossier labeled volatility. First comes leakage. A critic lays bait at 1:13 a.m. You bite. The reply trembles, righteous and long. Someone with cooler blood captures the screen before you can edit the heat out of it. Another opponent forwards your DM to a chat with 3 donors and 1 gatekeeper. A rival puts your last 5 midnight apologies on 1 neat slide with a tidy trend line. The room doesn't argue your feelings. It measures your containment. You called it transparency. They call it predictability. Your impulses arrive on schedule like a bus. You try to counter with speed, a thread to correct the thread, a live stream to explain the post. You step onto every stage that will have you, confusing availability with leverage, but frantic access signals a discount. People infer that you can be moved cheaply. Push hard, get a response. Push again, get a concession. Your enemies do not need to outthink you. They only need to wind you. The dossier grows, its audience expands. Your own outputs serve as exhibits for a case you financed with your evenings. Then the contradiction spiral tightens. You promise in public what you cannot deliver in private. To one client, daily updates. To another, quiet work, no noise. To the board, 0 slippage. To the team, humane pace. Each vow makes sense alone. Together they bite. Calendars slip because no cadence can satisfy every pledge. Invoices wobble because scope swells to salve yesterday's panic. Teams hedge because they distrust your forecast more than the weather report. You announce a date, then change it, then justify the change with a warm paragraph that costs you nothing and them everything. Soft boundaries are the fuse. You hate saying no because the wound hates being disliked. So you say yes, then add a footnote. Then add a second footnote when someone reminds you of the first. Every patched promise teaches people to drag you toward their needs. Every rescue signals that standards are negotiable. The spiral is mechanical. Overcommitment breeds delay. Delay breeds explanation. Explanation breeds new promises. The new promises strangle the hours that would have delivered the original work. What is left is talk, busy, and a reputation that shifts beneath the foot like sand. Coalition rot follows as quietly as mold. Allies drift toward quieter gates. They still toast your talent, but they direct their real cargo elsewhere. Introductions that once flowed in your direction now stop at a safer harbor. A partner who used your name to grease a committee starts pitching you second. A deputy builds a plan B because we can't hinge the quarter on vibes. They do not confront you, they reroute you. Your map shrinks without ceremony. Neutrals avoid risk. Procurement chooses a dull vendor with a boring deck because boring attaches to outcomes. The influencer who liked your energy prefers a collaborator whose calendar never bleeds. A recruiter steers top talent a street over. None of them need to hate you, they only need to sleep. Opportunists pile on. They repeat a sentence about you, soft, calm, devastating, amazing upside. But we needed certainty. Small disrespect normalizes. People interrupt you, reschedule you, CC you after decisions are made. Not because they are cruel, but because your availability taught them your time as a public utility. Watch how approval chasing corrodes rank. You apologize in rooms that require firmness. You wink at enemies to look above the fray, while scolding friends to look principled. The pecking order collapses. Those who stand with you feel exposed. Those who stand against you feel invited. The crowd turns your warmth into a signal that you can be herded. Approval is a market. When you buy it, you pay with authority. The rate compounds when you display appetite. Then comes the institutional sentence. Organizations compress you to travel fast, nice, unreliable, fast, flaky, loud, light. These are the stickers that ride your proposals through corridors you will never see. A coordinator pushes your meeting to 4:45, where seriousness goes to die. A lender adds a covenant for prudence. A board requests communication support as training wheels for a leader they no longer trust to steer. You argue the nuance. The sentence outruns you because it costs nothing to repeat and time to reconsider. Your repairs struggle against the tag. You deliver twice, and it is called luck. You deliver thrice, and it is called a phase. Someone new joins and inherits the file. They use your old midnight thread as the opening slide for risks. You are better than your worst evening, but the archive refuses to mature at your pace. Every fresh mistake is sorted into the same drawer. Every fresh success is quarantined as an exception. The story stays simple until changing it becomes cheaper than keeping it. So build protocol, not apology. In my city, power is the art of boring your enemies to sleep while you move the board. Refuse the late-night stage. Install a curfew on your public voice. Route all hot moments through one cold operator who cuts 90% of your words and all of your rage. Publish fewer promises with harder edges. Choose one pledge per audience. Write it down, price it correctly, and defend it with silence. Announce only what you can enforce without adrenaline. Make leakage expensive. Lock a DM's close threads. If you must apologize, attach a measurable repair and a date, then vanish into delivery. Teach your team that the fastest reply is a finished piece of work. Ban mixed signals. Praise in public, correction in private. Enemies addressed in public, indulge never. Keep a ledger of commitments. Anyone can read, so you cannot sweet-talk yourself into overreach. Build a habit of undersaying and overmoving until the market prices you as heavy. Examples show the road back. A founder turns off comments after 9 p.m. Moves updates to one weekly post with one chart, churn falls. A manager stops public clarifications, creates a single intake for priorities, and the calendar finally reflects the strategy. A candidate limits pledges to 3 lines carved into every stump speech. Donors stop asking for assurances because the lines enforce themselves. In each case, protocol replaces appetite. The label softens because keeping it becomes inaccurate and expensive. Remember, markets and institutions are not parents. They are weather. They respond to pressure and pattern. Frantic availability is a low-pressure front you carry on your back. Mixed messages are crosswinds. Coalition rot is freeze. The institutional sentence is fog. You do not beg weather to change. You navigate it with instruments you trust when your stomach sways. Build instruments. Obey them when it hurts. Move only when the move is clean. In the end, you choose what your file says, not with speeches, but with a calendar that keeps time, an inbox that forgets midnight, and a track record that never needs a thread to explain itself. Make the room pay full price to move you. Make enemies work and friends rest, become expensive to use. Close the floodgates, hold one line, deliver cold. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. It was never love, it was design. Respect appears when two beliefs settle in the room. You deliver predictable benefit, and you can enforce predictable cost. Make this visible, and the noise of opinion fades. Hide it, and you will beg for courtesy forever. Turn dignity into math and publish the numbers. Start with benefit and make it boringly reliable. You give speed, answers inside the window you announced. You give clarity, decisions framed in one paragraph with the next action, bold at the end. You give access, the right people in the same call at the right time, without the scavenger hunt. When people touch your process, delay drains out. Meetings shrink, handoffs stop bleeding. They may never adore you, but they will plan with you because planning around you is safer than gambling without you. Now define cost and make it equally predictable. Crossing your line triggers delays, deprioritization, or contractual clauses. No drama, no improvisation. A missed payment pauses work until funds clear and adds the posted fee. A missed deadline moves the offender down the queue behind on-time teams. Public disrespect reduces access one tier for a cycle. You do not shout, you invoice. You do not threaten, you execute. When the toll is known, people self-govern to avoid it. Respect is not a feeling in the crowd. It is a calculation made before they open their mouth. Examples carve the ledger into habit. A vendor forgets a spec after confirming twice. You open the change order clause, price the correction, and shift their slot to the next window. They learn that your calendar is a port, not an opinion, or a stakeholder tries to use urgency to skip the queue. You point to priority criteria, accept the request if it qualifies, decline if it does not, and log the decision in public notes. The room sees that proximity does not outrank policy. Tone improves because jeopardy is priced in public. Move from personality to policy. Personality begs, policy governs. Set response windows and keep them 4 hours on the priority channel. 1 business day on email, 48 hours for proposals. Publish them in your signature and meet them without fanfare. Take meeting control. Send the agenda the day before with decision verbs. Approve, allocate, escalate, open with aim, then numbers, then objections, then decision, then assignments, then time of next check-in. Close with a written summary within 24 hours. Design escalation steps that remove theatrics. Step 1. Private correction with an expectation and date. Step 2. Written note copied to the shared log. Step 3. Reassign work, reduce access, or adjust compensation for the cycle. Step 4. Replace. Nobody is surprised because the staircase was on the wall the whole time. Dependence on you becomes safe because you are legible. Document like a sovereign accountant. Keep a decision ledger, date, choice, owner, deadline, risk. Keep a change log with version numbers and reasons. Store agreements where everyone can see them. When a memory war starts, you open the book and end the battle in 2 minutes. This is how standards become portable and teachable. Anyone on your team can carry them without borrowing your personality. Let symbols teach so your mouth can rest. Seating is choreography, not vanity. Take the chair with sightlines to the door and the board. Place your deputy within whisper distance and key operators along your eye path. Guests face the decision line. Without a word, information flows the right way. Introductions run by contribution, then role, then name. She cut churn 12%. She leads retention. This is Amina. Hierarchy lands as service, not noise. Deadlines wear a uniform. 1 time zone, 1 format. Date stamped on document titles with owner initials and version. Slip the date and the posted consequence appears. Scope reduced, sequence changed, or fee applied. No scolding, only gravity. Email brevity is another symbol. Subject lines carry verbs and dates. Bodies are 3 lines: context, decision, next step. The medium trains the room to respect time because your words respect theirs. Dress for decisive settings with consistency. A single style for high-stakes rooms becomes a flag. The mind reads, "Now we decide," before you speak. A closing phrase seals the moment decision entered. Keep 1 pen for signatures, 1 notebook for commitments, and show them as you work. Small rituals tell the truth about rank without saying rank. Watch what architecture does. The loudest voice stops free climbing your agenda. The chronic latecomer becomes punctual because missing the gate costs a week. Clients who once tested every boundary now send cleaner briefs because messy ones bounce. Teams stop worshiping your mood and start following your map. You become required, not adored. Reliability replaces charm as the currency of survival. Carry this reframe wherever you stand: office, studio, family table, public square. Publish the benefit, post the cost, and enforce both with the gentleness of a well-oiled machine. If love appears, welcome it as weather. But do not build on weather. Build on rails. Respect will arrive as the market price of your predictability and the quiet fear of your penalties: steady, unromantic, durable. Be predictable in benefit, inevitable in cost. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. Ruthless respect is not noise, it is proportion. You do not flinch. You calibrate, you treat insult, pressure, and chaos as measurements, not personal weather. The method is 4 moves: assess, arrange, act, archive. Repeat it until the room predicts your order and fears your written memory more than your anger. Assess with the 3-water grid in 60 seconds. Stage quars offender, quars intent. Stage private, semi-public, public. Private is corridor or DM. Semi-public is team call or committee. Public is all hands or feed. Offender, fool, rival, traitor. Fool =, clumsy. Status seeking but not malicious. Rival =, vying within the order. Traitor =, recruiting against the order. Intent, probe, recruit, dethrone. Probe taps the fence. Recruit builds a circle. Dethrone swings at the head. Checklist. Write 3 letters. Stage P/S/U. Offender F/R/T. Intent P/R/D. Ask 2 quick questions. If I say nothing, who gains? If I speak fully, who recruits? If answers are unclear, you need 10 seconds more, and 1 witness note. Scripts that buy time without signaling fear. Noted. Will return after the update. Hold that, finish the brief, then questions. Penalty for skipping classification. You owe a 1-page debrief tonight, naming the misread and the rule you will tighten. The cost teaches proportion. Arrange means position before speech. You set the room so the stage favors your outcome. Agenda first: purpose, order, decision owner, time boxes. We will review for 6 minutes, take cued questions for 9, and record decisions at the end. Seating next: center the decider within your sightline. Place the skeptic near the data. Move the disruptor off the center line. Clock visible, recorder on. Allies text your lieutenant a single line. If norms break, deliver the standard. Decide now whether you will speak, or let a proxy address the person while you address the principal. Checklist. Agenda posted, speaking order printed, name cards visible, timer started, lieutenant ready. Scripts for early boundary setting. Will follow speaking order so time pays everyone. Questions queue through the moderator. Answers are recorded. Penalty for failing to arrange. The next session begins with a 3-minute ritual drill led by you until the choreography is automatic. The room must learn that order is cheaper than charm. Act, select, don't react. Choose 1 path and execute cleanly. Silent signal, ignore the offender, close the loophole with a short policy note, and continue. You move a chair, remove a title from the slide, or publish a rule. Effective today, questions queue, 3 minutes answers recorded. Script, we will follow the order. Use this for public probes by fools or rivals. Deterrence rises. Drama does not. Delegated correction. Your lieutenant states the norm and the remedy while you remain steady. Script. Per the charter, the presenter completes before questions. Please hold until the queue opens. You add one sentence only if needed. Proceed. Best for semi-public recruiting by rivals or early traders. If the delegate hesitates, penalty 5-minute practice with you before the next meeting. Reading the rule aloud until tone is clean. Decisive cost, revoke privilege, reduce scope or end terms with a calm lawful memo. A script per section 4.2, unauthorized disclosure ends access. Effective now, access is revoked. Review concludes Friday. Or given 2 missed gates, feature 2 is removed. Shipment proceeds on schedule. Best for public dethroning attempts by traders or persistent recruiting after warning. Penalty for extra commentary: you must send a tone apology while keeping the consequence intact. The steal is the procedure, you are only the hand that signs. Archive. Make memory into power. Emotion fades, paper governs. Keep minutes that capture decision, rule, and next checkpoint. Issue a 2-sentence summary within 24 hours. What occurred, what rule was affirmed, what changes next. Update 1 policy line, close 1 loophole, and add an effective date. Track favors, misses, and repeats on a ledger with 3 tags: credit, repair, watch. Quarterly, adjust access tiers. A for reliable partners with fast lane privilege, B for normal rhythm, C for chronic drags who must rebuild trust. Checklist, minutes, summary, policy update, ledger tag, tier review, scripts that keep the archive from sounding personal. This protects clarity and time. Standards are public, so outcomes are predictable. Penalty for late archiving: you spend an hour Saturday backfilling records and creating a 5-question FAQ for newcomers. The tax converts pain into teaching. Daily cadence manufactures calm under pressure. Morning focus block: 1 protected hour before the world touches you. Review your calendar like a battlefield map. What choke point do you hold today? What decision window opens? What ally needs a fast lane? Write 1 fear plainly and assign it an action. Call the client with the delay and offer 2 remedies. Midday boundary check: 15 minutes to send 3 scripts. No, delay, exit. No, I can't add this without breaking a promise I've already made. Choose a shift to next cycle or B trade scope. Delay, strong idea. I'll test and report Wednesday at 3, exit. This is outside our lane, I'll hand off a clean summary by noon. Evening debrief: 10 minutes with pen and ledger. Column 1, assess, what was the grid? And did you choose proportion? Column 2, arrange, which ritual worked? What jam appeared, what will you reposition? Column 3, act, which path you took, what it cost you, what it taught the room. Column 4, archive, what you wrote, who you credited, which rule you tightened. Mercy once in private, clarity twice in public, closure the 3rd time. This rhythm prevents vendetta and teaches memory to the crowd. 2 applied scenes, startup demo. A senior engineer performs expertise with a sarcastic interruption. URT, you choose silent signal. You finish the demo, post the Q&A rule, and move all questions to the end, then publish the summary with the updated format. Deterrence rises. Community board: a member leaks partial notes to inflame. Cess tour. You begin with delegated correction. The secretary cites the rule, posts full minutes and schedules a clarification vote. On a second breach, you deliver decisive cost and remove access per the charter, then note the rule in the minutes. Ruthless respect is not cruelty. It is clarity under pressure. You show the room how to win without breaking the frame. The shadow in you hunger for applause, spike of revenge, learns to bow to proportion. Over weeks, people stand straighter when you enter because your sequence is predictable. Grid, stage, stroke, record. They may not love you, they will count on you. And that dependence is the currency that buys peace. Proportion before emotion, paper before pride, 1 clean move. One must be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. You do not audition for respect. You construct it. When your code is visible and your follow-through is exact, people can predict you and adjust. The noise thins. Decisions stop circling the room and land. Your tone stays calm because the rules do the talking. You choose structure over approval and watch the temperature drop without losing heat. The quiet dividend arrives first. Opportunities come earlier, not because you shout, but because your timeline is real. A partner sends the brief while it is still clay, trusting you to shape work without drama. A recruiter forwards 2 strong names, not 20, because your standards are public and your interviews are clean. A client offers fair terms before the call because your last 3 contracts were paid on time and disputes were settled by the document, not by emotion. Strong allies self-select. People who trade in panic drift away. Those who value clarity move closer. Your calendar breathes fewer emergency calls, more early drafts, blocks with space around them. The market prices you as costly to cross and safe to follow, and so the path in front of you stops wobbling. Inside the team, the same math compounds. Roles are written, decisions are logged, handoffs are drilled like fire exits, so stress finds no loose wire to spark. Meetings shrink because the agenda is a gate, not a suggestion. You do not waste daylight on detective work. You let the record speak and then you execute. Fewer crises, faster decisions. Clearer rooms, order becomes a humane kindness. People stop guarding their backs and start guarding the mission. The room breathes because responsibility has a home and authority has a door. Work flows to outcomes instead of arguments. Mercy with memory keeps the spine human. You forgive once in private so dignity can recover in the shade. A teammate misses a deadline. You close the door, lay out the facts, and agree on restitution. A reduced scope, a new date, a checkpoint midweek. You sign it together. Then you thank loyalty in public. You name the analyst who carried the data across the finish line. You credit the assistant who kept the board packet clean. Praise is precise, not syrup, so everyone learns what wins here. And you keep patterns on record. Dates, misses, repairs, results. Not a grudge book, a risk map. When repetition appears, you narrow scope, change seats, or close the door without malice and without delay. Memory guards mercy from being exploited. People feel safer because consequences are predictable and private. This pairing, justice with grace, sharpens your alliances. Better people rise to rules, because rules are the shortest path to pride. Vendors bring clean drafts, colleagues bring bad news early. Partners root risk through you because you cut cleanly and keep moving. You remain human without being soft, approachable without being available for abuse. Respect stops being a performance and becomes a climate. The hall grows quiet not from fear but from form, and the work gains speed without smoke. Live above the weather. Picture storms outside. Notifications like hard rain, rumors like wind scraping glass. Inside, a steady corridor, rules on the wall, outcomes on schedule. Each lantern along the passage is a ritual. Morning list, midday triage, end-of-day audit, weekly reset. Entrances are measured. Every request passes a gate. Owner, deadline, definition of done. Exits are clean. Decision, recorded once. Next step assigned, time-stamped. You walk this corridor with a quiet face. The walls are your standards, simple, legible, enforced. Whether the forecast is blue or black, the corridor holds, and so do you. Choose structure over approval. Keep records over stories. Reward in daylight. Forgive once in private. Track patterns. Decide on time. You will find fewer crises, faster decisions, and rooms that clear when you enter. Not out of fear, but out of form. That is quiet authority. The fox for traps, the lion for wolves, and the builder who keeps the hall standing when the sky turns black. Structure first, peace follows.